Topaz Jace back for another daily review, and this one is to that Yelawolf Row Your Boat, and I'm giving this one the green light because it's just fire. On every level this joint is fire, starting with that production where it's solid all the way around, and then he starts throwing in the live guitars right there, man. And that's something that I've consistently said over the years, is that having solid beats, man, is cool, but yet you can take your beats up to a whole nother level if you go out and get live musicianship applied to it. And quite honestly, none of this surprises me at all, because Yelawolf has been consistent throughout the years of being able to select quality music and then going on top of that and creating solid songs as well, man. As the overall song here, what makes it dope is the fact that just on the outer layer of this song and such, man, it's a dope track. If you're not intent on understanding everything about this song, man, delving into the lyricism, delving into the ultimate meanings that he got behind everything, you can still just straight up enjoy it, man. You do not have to be that deep into this in order to actually like the music. But if you're anything like me, man, you definitely want to understand everything that an individual is saying, man, and this takes it to a whole nother level of quality, because what he's ultimately meaning here by row your boat is your boat being your own one vessel, that you go in your own unique direction. It's like your own individualities to stand out from the crowd and not do everything that everybody else wants you to do. And that's ultimately what he's saying, as in these verses, he's talking about the things that prevent you from doing that. The first verse, he's talking about religion to begin with and such, and this is something that's not new to the world. This is something that has been spoken about for quite some time. By the way that they have written the Bible and the Quran is not the same exact translation from the ancient texts and such, and there's a skew to it that comes off as a bit of controlling, you dig? So he's kind of regurgitating that to a degree, but it's rather deep when you think about it. From there, he goes into the talks of fear of change, and this is something that's consistent amongst people and such, man. Like, once you get to a certain level, you have a fear of losing whatever it is you gained. So whatever it is you gained ends up controlling you, to the point that you fear of actually going out there to do whatever you want to do and change up the things in your life that you deem that you need to change up. But yet that's just completely not true. Like, if you feel as though you need to make a change in life, you should go ahead and do that joint. Now, you always want to keep in mind the responsibilities that you have, and the consequences of your actions for you doing it. But if you're prepared for all of that, man, then go ahead and chase after the things that you want to chase after. And the last thing that he touches on in his verse, man, is the media control over people. And this one is really prevalent today, man, because you see it consistently in all aspects of life, man. Like, you see a lot of people, if you see it on the news, they believe that it's 100% true, and that's not necessarily the case. If you see it on a website, people believe that it's 100% true, and that's hardly ever the case, because there's nothing that says that that has to be true. And then you see it in the music industry and such, man. People will bombard you with the same song every half an hour, and you will believe that it's hot because you heard it from so many different sources consistently all the time, and people will tell you that it's so good. But ultimately, it's all a form of brainwashing, man, and it takes away your ability to choose what you feel as though is hot, what you know is the truth, man, if you don't go out and research and do all of this stuff. The second verse, he continues on with this premise as he goes into rioting, where this is why I really don't like the vast majority of his fan base, man, because they take it and they screw it into something that it's really not, and it's always something racial and such, man, because, you know, with him flying the Confederate flag and all of that, like, the white supremacists kind of build towards him, but yet he's not one of them. He really just did that for a completely different reason, and they try to make Yelawolf's music fit into their agenda when it honestly doesn't. Because what they trying to say here is, when he's talking about riots, they try to apply that to Black Lives Matter movements and all of that stuff, man, when that's quite clearly not the case here. Especially when he's saying that they going out there and shooting police officers and all of that stuff. Name one riot or protest where masses of black people went out and deliberately shot at these white cops and all that stuff, even if they were deserving of such. It really doesn't happen like that. Really, the only people out here who's consistently killing cops are these people who's trying to pretend like they for cops' rights and all of that stuff, man, when they obviously honestly are. They honestly don't do anything for any of the people who go out and kill white police officers. But he means it more in the direction of when you go out and riot with all of these other people, you're doing the same things that all these other people are doing. You lose your own identity of everything that you stand for. And then he continues to talk about the murderous cops, and then he flips it up going into drug dealing. With what he's talking about, drug dealing is by the drug usage, by taking the drug, it's kind of taking away your individuality and your choices and stuff that you want to go ahead and make in your life. But then he ultimately sums it all up by overall just talking about his disdain for racism overall, as that fits into everything as well. By all these people out here wearing these white robes and all that stuff, he's talking about the Klan and racists and all of that stuff too. They honestly lose their own identity by going along with this hatred that's really making no sense for as long as it's ever been in the place. Overall, an excellent song on every level, man. This is one that I definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and peep on out. But a quick recap here, man. The positives that I'm taking from this is everything, and the negatives that I take from this is nothing. But this concludes today's review, man. And now we're gonna jump into a brief instrumental from underground producer Corner Boy Music before we jump into the news, and then jump into an article from downloadpads.com. So have you guys seen that there's a new TV show that's in the works, which is going to be entitled The Studio, where what they're going to be doing is pretty much showing you the comical elements of what goes down when people goes in to record music and all that, dude. And I had that idea for that a long time ago because I was living that. But you know, it is what it is. They got to it before I could get to it, and I ain't even mad. I just hope that it's good. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpads.com, and today's article is about mastering your skills, because this is one thing that annoys me. Is when people jump from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they never ever master anything. They really just do that because they're chasing after money as they go, instead of actually trying to become great at one particular thing. Because here's the thing about life. Like, life tends to reward those who become great at one particular thing, man, who's different and actually can promote themselves and find their own ways about it. But if you go around chasing after fad because that's where the money allegedly is for that time, you're going to end up wasting more money than actually making anything, one. And two, you won't actually create skills that you can use for years in the future and all of that stuff, man. It's most importantly for you to find something that you're passionate about, push it, and master your craft with it, man. Because when you do that, you'll be able to use that and apply it to anything else you do in the future. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.